Okay, so I'm going to show you how to stretch watercolour paper. The main reason we do this is because if you don't and you're using a lot of water on your painting, then the paper will start to warp and you'll get puddles and it'll go wavy and it'll undulate and it will ruin your painting potentially. So in order to do this, we soak it first, get it completely wet, and then we stretch it so it expands when it's wet, and then it will stretch. You tape it down, so that will avoid the warpage. So what you can do, I brought it to my bathroom because I often give my paper a shower. So I will just show you how I do that. With cold water or lukewarm water, whatever you prefer. Basically, you want to wet the whole page. Alright. Give it a good soak and then turn it over. So you've got both sides. Do it a couple of times for good measure. Really making sure the bit you're holding is getting wet as well. Alright, that should do it. Just give it a little shake. Now with your board, I have a board here. I don't know what this is from. Make sure it's clean. I've just had to scrape some paper off. But that doesn't usually happen, so I think I just got bad pack or something. You can do this elsewhere, but you just lay it flat. Alright, you can move it a little bit. Be careful with the paper because it will be fragile. So it sticks to the board. And then what you're going to want to do is smooth it out and get rid of the excess water. Okay. So using a sponge, I only have a cloth, but you're just going to want to smooth it down. If you can see any bubbles, there's one in the middle, you can lift it up. Lift up the paper to where the bubble is and smooth it out. Trying to be gentle and not getting bits on your paper, which I've managed to do. Oh dear. Okay. Alright. Now then. Okay, now I've just brought you downstairs to my little studio space. Just because there's more room down here. And I've got myself a little bowl of water, the gummed tape and some scissors, and also something to flatten the page with. Could be a credit card. I've just got this from something, I don't know. So make sure your page is still really wet. And what you're going to do is you're just going to smooth it out. I think mine's drying, starting to dry, which is not ideal. And you can lift carefully. You can lift and smooth out air bubbles. Okay. If you want it as flat as can be. Okay. Being gentle, not to scrape the page, not to get dirt on it, flies. Yeah, if you scrape too hard, like I've just done here, it will start to flake. And you get little bits of paper flaking off. So that's fine. Now with your gum tape, you're just gonna measure out one of the lengths. I'll do it this way so you can see better. Okay, it's got to go the whole way across the page and add custom. You cut it, and it's a little bit tacky when it's dry, but it's not really sticky. So what you do, you dip this into the water. Alright. So you just dip it, or you can wipe your sponge on it, or whatever. Alright, so you get it wet, and that activates the glue, and you stick it on. Try and get it straight, because then that'll be a nice border for you. Oops, you can manipulate it a little bit. Okay, and then as you go, you're smoothing the page, trying to avoid any air pockets, which I've got going on. And you do the sides. Snip, dip, and stick. Alright. And then smooth it out. Now I'm just going to lift the page this way and get rid of this bubble, hopefully. Okay, and again, measure the length. Snip, oops, dip, and stick. You want to be a bit more careful than I'm being, really. Okay, and just smooth it out. And finally, one more. Oh, this way. There we go. Okay, so you want the tape to do the whole border, and it should be flat. You shouldn't have any pockets in it, in the paper. And then what you do, you let it dry. Make sure you've flattened the tape all the way around. You let it dry overnight or something. You can start painting on it when it's damp, so before it's dried completely, and you can get some nice sort of soft washes if that's what you're going for. Or you can let it dry completely, and then you can start painting on it like using a dry page. It's completely up to you what you want to try. It's pretty straightforward once you get get the hang of it. But yeah, it's just elevates your work. It's an extra step, but it makes it look a bit better. And yeah, the roll lasts for ages. Bear in mind, when your fingers are wet, then you're holding the tape, then it will start to get a little bit sticky on your fingers, but I mean, they're not sticky now. Yeah, if you've got any questions, just ask.